different. It's different. Look, it's different. It's different. I got a different type of.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Rob's Card Addict. This is episode 11, and today we're going to talk about 5 tips to start a sports card hobby. Now, there's a lot of videos out there and a lot of information about what the hobby entails and how you can approach it, but today we're going to give you our top 5 tips on how to start a hobby in the sports card market. Tip number 1 is going to be build a process from the start. When you're starting off, you may have limited funds, whether that's $50, $100, $500, depending on what you have. You need to know what your process is going to be. That means the tools, the expenses, and you need to plan for the growth, but not to overextend yourself. So when you're starting off, are you going to start it off big where you're buying a 500 docs of a 3-row and you're going to have 3,000 cards that you need to sort and post on eBay and get through? Or are you going to go out and spend $100 on one card, see if you can flip it and turn it? That is going to determine what your approach is when you come into building a process. Me personally, I went out and bought a 3-row box. It wasn't what I would do today, for sure. And it forced me to expand a lot quicker and buy tools and invest in things that I didn't need to invest in. But you got to think about what you're going to need to keep your business running. So when you're printing off the mailing stickers, if you don't have a thermal printer, you're cutting it, printing it from a regular printer, taping it to the front of the envelopes. That takes a lot of time and effort, and it can bog you down. If you are uploading a lot of cards, you're going to need a scanner and probably something that is a self-feed, whether it's the Ricoh scanner or another type of scanner. You're going to need something that can process a lot of cards quicker. And you got to build that into, again, your routine. Otherwise, you're going to have stale inventory that you can't turn. Now, as opposed to if you're going to buy 1, 2, 5 cards, those are going to allow you to get into the hobby with minimal expenses. You're going to be able to use your phone for most of this. You're going to be able to scan. You're going to be able to upload to eBay. You're not going to need any subscriptions. Card Dealer Pros, not necessarily. Something that you're going to need if you're only uploading a few cards a week or even a few cards a month. But there are downsides to purchasing just a few cards as well. And sometimes people don't want to do that. So depending on how you want to start, you need to incorporate that and then decide and maybe even research what tools you need. Expenses as well. So when we talked about the Ricoh scanners, depending on which one you get, is going to be a pretty big price tag. You're going to need thermal paper even for a thermal printer. You can go on Temu and pick up a good thermal printer, but you're going to need printing paper. You're going to need tape. You're going to need stickers. You're going to need a lot of stuff that's going to allow you to ship these items in a good way. So that's something that you got to take into consideration up front, and that is our first tip. All right, tip number 2 is to know where to buy and what to buy. Now, this can depend on where you live as well. Some people don't have access to card shops. Some people don't have access to card shows. But typically you're going to have access to places like Facebook Marketplace, Instagram, and then places that sell cards online, such as Whatnot and eBay. So knowing where you're going to go and purchase these cards, they come with the expenses, which again is tied into tip 1. But you got to understand that moving forward, you need inventory, the source, and you got to know where you're going to go to get that inventory. You also got to know what you're going to buy. So depending on your budget, you may be looking to flip low-end sports cards. These could be anywhere from $1 to $5, sometimes even upwards of that. You can buy 3-row boxes, which we mentioned previously, and try to flip that in volume. You can go the route of buying larger cards, but remember, each of these have a strategy behind them, and you have to consistently be able to get the cards that you're looking for that you can flip and be consistent about. Also, knowing where you're going to sell them comes into play, but if you haven't heard the adage, you make your profit when you buy, that's absolutely the case. You have to know where you're going to purchase these cards. You have to do your research, and you got to be smart about it. If you're starting off with, let's say, $100, you don't want to necessarily go and onto Whatnot potentially and get into a sudden death where you have 5 seconds without doing research and buying a card. You don't know how that card is. You don't know what the sales are on it. You don't know what the research is. Vice versa, if you go into a yard sale, you can look to see and find a 3-row box that you can pretty comfortably flip, but it's going to take a lot of time, it's going to take a lot of energy, and it's going to take a lot of effort. So it's really up to you, but do not get into the FOMO. There are always purchases out there. There are always cards for sale. There are always bargains and deals that you can find. Just be patient and look for the right ones for you. Now for tip number 3. Tip number 3 is probably the most important outside of tip number 5. So second most important. That is consistency and customer service is your brand. And everything you do should be building on those two things. Consistency does not mean showing up 120% to the point where you're burning yourself out. This is a hobby. You need to build it around what your normal schedule is. Whether it's you have a part-time job that you work 30 hours at, full-time job, 50 hours, you take care of the kids, whatever the case is, this is a hobby to start with, and you need to build that hobby around your life. But you need to show up on a consistent basis. So if you're uploading cards 5 times a week, if you're uploading cards every other day, if you're packaging 3 times a week, whatever the case is, you need to build that consistency into your business. Secondly, on this is your customer service. The only thing that differentiates you is your customer service when you start. You don't have a rating really with eBay. You don't have a lot of reviews. People don't trust you because they don't know you. How you build that is by the customer that purchased it from you and whether or not you can get them to leave feedback on your eBay store. That is what I truly believe, and that's what I've been working on since I've started this. So our packaging, the timeliness of our shipping, all of that, even our responses to questions or refund requests and stuff like that, all of that builds on our customer service and in hopes of building that brand. Right now, we have a perfect feedback score of 100%. That may change, and it hasn't been 100% in the past. There has been times that people have disagreed or not happy with what we've decided or done as a business. Sometimes we've shipped out cards a little bit slower, or we've shipped it in a way that they didn't like it, it got damaged, whatever the case is, right? We're not necessarily looking for 100%, but the usual feedback that we get, there's a lot where other businesses don't have people leaving a lot of feedback. I forget the specific number, but I think it's around 25%, give or take, somewhere around there. We have a substantially higher number of people on per our sales that leave feedback. And I do believe it's because we ship quick. We ship really good. I have a process of where we go. I don't want to say extra links because we have a budget and we're trying to be a business and build that out. But we take great strides to keep the cards safe, clean, professional, and ship them out in a way that can make sure that it gets to you reasonably safe without any damages. It doesn't always work, but for the most part, we've been successful at that. So making sure that you're consistent and you show up, if not every day, just the same time every week, and you're in there, And then your customer service, your brand, how you interact with the people that are purchasing and spending that hard-earned money on you. It's really important for them. So make sure that you show up in that way as well. All right, now we're on to tip number 4. And tip number 4 is one that is not usually concrete. It changes. It's probably going to change for you. I know it's changed for me multiple times. It really depends on the mood I am in. And that is figuring out what kind of hobbyist you are. Now, we're not going to get into conversation about what the true hobbyist is or the rights and wrongs about what type of the hobbyist, but there are different types and you need to understand that and you need to figure out what type of hobbyist you are. Really, I break this down into 3 portions, and I know there's branches of that and the degrees, and I understand that, but for me, I look at it in 3 ways. Are you a collector? A person who's going to purchase the card and keep it, rarely ever sell anything, and if you are selling something, it's to purchase another card. You may be collecting sets, you may be collecting players, you may be collecting teams. Whatever it is, it's really not necessarily to flip or to invest in. It's because you are enjoying it and you want to keep that card. Now, that card may leave your possession. It may not always be in your PC. You may keep it for a year or 6 months or however long and then decide you don't want it anymore. That's okay. You're still a collector. But collectors aren't looking necessarily to make money off the cards. Number 2 is investor. Investors are the people who are looking to buy cards and keep them for either a short or long-term amount of time, but ultimately they want the values to go up so they can sell it and then take that profit and turn it into something else. Think about in baseball, prospects are huge investing opportunities. A lot of people will go out and purchase the new rookies, minor league players that they think are going to get into the majors, and they will purchase their cards and hold on to them until they finally reach the MLB. And then when they do, they turn around and sell it and then rinse and repeat. That's a perfect, legitimate way to enjoy the hobby. There is risk involved. Not every player makes it, and sometimes the cards that you spent $5, $10, $20 in end up being found in the quarter box. So investing is there, but it's fun, and it is a way to make a profit. The third way is being a flipper, which is something that I tend to enjoy, and that is finding the deals for anything and turning it around and selling it pretty quickly. Now, if you look behind me, there's a lot of different things going back there. I have cards that I would consider collectors. They're part of the Cincinnati Bengals and Cincinnati Reds. King Griffey Jr., those are ones that I collect. I don't expect to really sell them. I'm not buying them just because I think they're going to go up. And in fact, I think some of those are probably going to go down in value, and that's okay. They're for me. I also have cards back here. So if you've heard or seen some of the other episodes, I have the Pokemon cards, which I'm building out the original 151 set with cards that I enjoy. But ultimately, I'm probably going to end up selling that. Not anytime soon, I don't think, but most of these have gone up in value and I expect them to continue to go up in value. And at some point, I'm going to get rid of them and sell them. But that's okay. That's another way to enjoy it. And then flipping is what we usually do. We purchase a card and we're going to try to sell it for the profit as quickly as reasonably we can. So there's a card that we just purchased this week, a couple of days ago. We purchased a Geno Smith rookie. It was a Topps Finest Atomic rookie autographs. It was out of 5 for Geno Smith. It's a BGS 9.5. With an auto 10 grade, and we bought that off of Whatnot for, after taxes and shipping, it was $90 some. And with the football season coming up, I expect to try to turn that and flip it and see if I can make a profit. Flipping doesn't always lead to a profit. Sometimes the cards go down. Sometimes you just made bad investments or purchases. It's perfectly fine. None of these are guarantees, because if it was, everybody would be doing it. So just understand that what you are, what you think you are, might change over a period of time. You may be doing multiples of these like I am. I'm doing all 3 right now, and that's perfectly fine. But what type of hobbyist you are is going to determine the type of strategy that you have. As a collector, you may not be caring about the value or the price of a card. You may just purchase it because you like it, you got the money, and you're going to spend it. As an investor, what you want to do is find ones that have long-term potential. So think about the GOATs right now. I came across a Michael Jordan. I wish I had a few $100s more. I would have purchased it. It was a second-year Michael Jordan, and I think his market's going to continue to go up, and that's probably one that I would invest in and not sell anytime soon, but I would keep it in my PC for a little while, and then at some point, I'd sell it. And then as a flipper, you're looking for the deals, the quick turns, or the quicker turns. So every one of these comes with a strategy, but you got to determine how you want to enjoy the hobby, and don't let anybody else determine that for you. It's your decision. All right, before we get to tip number 5, if you've liked what you've heard so far, please do me a favor. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We are trying to get out videos once a week. Doesn't always happen, but we got some great content that's coming forward. We'll also leave a comment in the comment section for tip number 6 as well. So let us know what your favorite tip was today. All right, and for the last and final tip, number 5, and this is probably cheesy, but it is so true, and that is just have fun. There are so many people who have opinions. There are negativities around the hobby. There's negative people in the hobby. And at the end of the day, the reason that you're in this is because you want to enjoy it. You do enjoy it, I hope. So whatever you do, however you experience the hobby, whether you're building a little bit of a business, a side hustle, if you're in it for collecting and you're just getting the cards because it reminds you of your childhood, whether you're investing because you want to have a fund for your retirement and you want to invest some money in a fun sort of way, or if you're looking to make a quick dollar and flip some of these cards, it's really up to you on how you experience the hobby, what you do, and how much it impacts you. So remember, at the end of the day, just have fun. Again, we appreciate it. So this is our top 5 for starting a small side hustle in the hobby. We're going to come out with some more videos in the future, including what tools we use, our shipping practices, what cards we're looking for, things like that. So again, we appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks, everyone.